First, just want to acknowledge some items here. First off, despite the fact that this meeting is virtual, this is not how we want to do it, but this is how we're forced to do it in light of the past year. So first off the bat, we acknowledge the land that we are meeting on and within the cyber world on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Also like to acknowledge a lot of folks on the line right now. So many people have been so important and with us along the way through the past couple of years. It's been a difficult road, especially within the past year. But any project that's worth doing is worth doing well, and it's worth being as thorough as possible. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. And so with that, I want to acknowledge and thank, first off the bat, I want to acknowledge and thank Kathy Birch for her help on the accessibility side of this project and coordinating that side and making sure that any designs that we're going to be endeavoring upon meet the needs of all people, able-bodied and not, ambulatory and not, and for anybody that has different abilities. Also want to acknowledge a number of folks here. Want to give a shout out to Alona. Good to see you, building representative. Fantastic that you're here. You're always here. Missed your hugs. Also, Miguel. What's 220 Oak without seeing Miguel around? So it's great to see everybody here. Great to see Miguel here. Seeing so many faces here that we haven't seen in person in a while. Wendy, good to see you. Pat Melnick, see that you're joining us here. Nancy, Renee, great to see you. You'll probably recognize a number of folks from our design team as well. We've got LGA they are our architects on our project here. They're doing a fantastic job. Firm is led by Danny Bartman. He's here tonight. He's going to be presenting the update with Sophie Tremblay. Sophie Tremblay has been always working in the background on this. However, she stepped into the fore on this because you may remember a woman by the name of Chantel was working on our project, and I hope I'm not too forward in saying that she's actually now a mother. So she's off on maternity leave, and we wish her all the best. Sorely missed, but she has some other more important things to do right now, and so our thoughts and prayers are with her right now. So with that, I think that it would probably be best if I wrap up my portion of it and turn the meeting over to Sophie and to Danny to go over where we are or what we've done to date at 220 Oak Street. As well as what we're doing tonight, and then go over that. The next thing that's going to happen is we're going to be entertaining some questions at the end. And so if you have any questions that you want to get out, please feel free to use the chat, put the comments in the chat, put anything that you want in the chat. You can do that. And I know that Samuel and Jesse will be monitoring that. Alternately, there's also the email address that's up there. Please feel free to email if that's a little easier for you. That's no problem. And we'll also be monitoring that. With that, again, the way that we're going to do this, we're going to turn it over to the architects. They're going to perform the presentation, and then there's going to be a question and answer period after that. So please feel free to hold your questions until the end, or just put them in the chat, and we'll get to them. So okay. With what you do, I'm going to turn the turn the presentation over to Sophie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sophie.
Hi, everyone. Actually, I think Danny's going to take it to start.
Okay, I beg your pardon.
After.
I thought
Daniel.
No, thanks for the intro, Adam. And I thought you were deliberately throwing Sophie a curveball since this is her inaugural 220 Oak Street community meeting. It's great.
I'll strike that off the list. So thank you, right.
Perfect. It's great. It's great to see everyone again, albeit over Zoom. And again, I just want to echo Adam's sentiment. We appreciate everyone's patience with this technology and some of the lag time. I wish that we were all meeting in front, in person, but it looks as though, I remain optimistic. It looks like the city is coming more alive. The weather is there. People are getting their second jabs. Things are starting to open up, and I'm feeling really positive that it's just, around the corner before we can all meet in person again. Samuel, maybe go back to the previous slide. I'll just go over some of the ground rules on the welcome sheet. Yeah. So during this presentation, we're just going to shut off all microphones to allow everyone to hear the speaker, and it just cuts out from some of the background noise. At the end of the presentation, we're anticipating there's going to be many questions, so let's please reserve your questions for the end. You can also ask questions during the presentation in the chat box. That was really popular at our last Zoom session, and Samuel and Jesse are active on the chat lines. And then once there are no more questions, we'll end the meeting. If we run out of time or you think of something after our meeting tomorrow, late at night tonight, you can always email your questions to the address below, and this address will come up many times throughout the presentation. So there's so many ways to send us your feedback. Okay, next slide. So I'm really excited about today's meeting because it's actually been a long time coming. Those of you that have been with us since the beginning can remember the first time we put up this banner that showed the timeline, and we were at the first step at the kickoff meeting, and we were telling everyone this is going to be, it's not going to be a sprint, this is going to be a marathon. And I think we were accurate in that comparison. But I'm really happy that today we're at the fourth and a half step at 4B, the master plan. And we're here today to talk about all the plans and modifications to your units, and to have the big reveal on what's being planned for the exterior of the building. And it's been a long time coming. At the last session, we had great discussions about all of the work that was happening to the exterior. If you guys remember, all of those, we divided up in groups. Feels like ages ago now, but it was probably a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years ago, where we were walking around the site in groups. And so at our last meeting, we came back with drawings that showed and demonstrated that we heard you, we were inspired by you, and we are designing for you on the exterior. And also we showed off all of the new tenant spaces that were being reclaimed on the ground floor and the basement, and some of the new tenant spaces and resident spaces that were being created virtually, actually from scratch, brand new spaces. So that was a real exciting meeting, but we promised we'd come back to the table with imagery on the exterior and more details about what's happening in your units, and that's today. And the good news is that is going to wrap up the design phase for this project. We'll be back one more time to talk about detailed final design decisions, but the majority of it is being shared with you today. And what that means is me and Sophie and Samuel, our engineers who you've seen on site, and a host of other architects are all going to get busy preparing construction drawings. And that's just a great place to be because it means this project is advancing. Next slide. So just to recap, all the engagement that we've done, and this is more a way to acknowledge and tip our hats off to everyone that's been part of this conversation since the beginning. It's really been a collaborative and a group effort. So we had 2 kickoff meetings, if you recall. Then we did 4 deep dives, 4 topical workshops, followed by 16 deep dive workshops. That represented a lot of discussion. We heard a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different points of view, and we got the expertise of many different people that have been living at Oak for a long time, people that know the ins and out of 220 Oak, and so we've shared all those notes with you, and it just represented a ton of investigative work. We had 2 meetings afterwards to share our findings, and then a meeting to present the master plan, which was our last space. So this is a real important meeting today. All of those discussions have been organized around 5 central themes. We'd like to anchor our conversations around safety and security, and expand that to accessibility. We focused on inside your homes. We've elaborated on community programming. And like I said, I thought some of the most memorable moments were walking around the exterior spaces in groups where we had our feet on the ground. So today we're going to focus on your home. And just as a recap, we've got some of the, sometimes a picture is the best way to say it. And so if you recall, these were some of the drawings and diagrams that we shared with you last meeting. And so we basically put to practice everything we heard about safety, security, accessibility. You can see the new pedestrian walkways that were established, corrections to curbs, allowing for accessible transition between sidewalks and pavings, the creation of an official Wheel-Trans drop-off, and just other examples of more community programming and resident programming. So the creation of a dog park, or the creation and transformation of community gardens. That was great discussions on the exteriors, but we didn't show you what the building itself was going to look like. We showed you what was being planned on the ground. And so that's what today's discussion is. The next image talked about, this was one of the most telling diagrams, seeing the before and after the transformation. And so just as a reminder, all of the rooms that are color-coded yellow, those represent newly created or reclaimed tenant space. And so I think one of the best ways to illustrate this is thinking about the space in the basement and the reclamation of the abandoned pool and turning it into one large multi-purpose room. And I think that's one of the best examples of reclaiming space. But you can see, again, a ton of abandoned or underutilized storage spaces that are now being converted into programming spaces. And then on the ground floor, I think we're just so excited and really proud of the new space that's being created. And so there's a new addition being planned at 220 Oak. And so you can see that on the ground floor. And it's a new multi-purpose room. And it's going to be just a beacon and a gem at 220 Oak. And it really represents the ability to have larger community meetings, larger resident meetings, activities that, when we started this project and we would meet in Sam's basement, and I've always thought that was so ironic that as a group, we couldn't meet at 220 Oak because there weren't big enough spaces. Well, now you will have 2 of them to choose from. And I think that's a real triumph on this project. So moving on to today's, like I had said, 5 major themes. 4 of them we focused on at our last meeting. The 5th one, your home, is what we're going to focus on today. And I believe now I'm going to turn it over to Sophie to go into a lot more detail about what you can expect in terms of the transformations that are being planned and the upgrades that are being proposed for your units.
Yes, so hi everyone, my name is Sophie. As Adam mentioned, taking over from Chantal, who is now on mat leave. I hope I'll be able to fill in her shoes. I know she's did a great job connecting with you guys for the past year or two and laying all the groundwork really for leading up to today. And we're really excited with this project. It's definitely one of the most exciting projects in the office and really a significant one. I've been working in the past few years pretty much exclusively on TCH projects of a similar nature, and this one is really a great one, and it will be really transformative for the community. So I'm very excited and honored to be working with this community. So there'll be 2 parts to this presentation. I'm going to go through part 1, which is going to go in detail explaining each upgrade that we are doing that will have a direct impact on your home and really improving your living experience. And then Danny will take it over again to talk about the exterior and how your building will look. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is you're creating new windows and new doors. So no more leaky windows, no more cold air coming in, no more condensation. They will be able to operate smoothly. This will really improve the comfort inside. These will be really energy efficient windows as well. Next thing we're doing is adding insulation and also a new cladding on the facade. So what this will do is it will drastically improve the look of the building. So as you'll see when Danny will talk about this, you'll have a full new facade around your building. And the fact that we're adding a significant amount of insulation will mean that when it's really hot outside, it won't be as hot in your unit. The temperature won't fluctuate as quickly as it does currently. And if it's really cold outside, it will stay warmer. This will really improve the comfort inside your apartment. Next thing we're doing is we're completely taking out the existing balcony guards, and then we're going to fix the entire concrete slab. We're going to repair everything, put a new coating on the slab, and then putting new balcony guards. So really a complete new look and experience on your balcony, really sturdy material, and yeah, really changing the appearance and the experience on the balcony. Next thing we're doing is something you don't have currently. 220 Oak is we're going to add bird netting to each balcony. Some of you might be familiar with this product. It's really thin mesh. It's not going to obstruct the vision, and it will keep the pigeons away and also increase security and safety. We are also improving the air quality inside your unit. So we're doing 2 things to address this. One is currently you don't have like a typical range hood above your stove. So we're adding a new one. It's going to be completely connected directly to the outdoors. So any odors from the food and grease will go directly outside. It will be much more efficient. At the same time, we're doing throughout building upgrades. So replacing some of the existing mechanical units that are on the roof, changing all the grills in the corridors, and making sure the ventilation is in working order and there's sufficient ventilation. This will help air quality inside, but also mitigate the transfer of odors between corridor and units. You're adding thermostats. So the existing radiators, there's 2 parts to them. One is the pipes inside, which we're going to clean and repair if the cover is broken, replace the cover if it's really not repairable. And then we're putting a new valve connected to a thermostat. So this allows you to control only your radiator, so independently from the entire building. So currently, you know, if it's going full speed in the spring and it's too hot, you can't control it. So this will allow residents that prefer their apartments more or less hot to regulate them. We're also addressing the reliability of the hot water and the pressure as well. So we're doing some replacements of mechanical equipment again, and some plumbing to make sure that when you take a shower, or the hot water is consistent and the pressure is also consistent. And that's it. And then back to Danny.
Okay. Now for the building exterior. And so a lot of what Sophie was showing talked about the added layers to the exterior. The analogy we always use is that this building is going to get like a brand new parka, but that doesn't really do it justice. And what I'm hoping is the images we show you today will finally reveal to you what's being planned in terms of the new product. So we're getting new insulation and a new metal cladding system, and new balcony guards, new windows, and new doors. It's going to completely refresh the look of the building. Here is a view, if you can imagine, taken of the city from a helicopter. It's a Google Earth view, actually. And it's showing 220 Oak with the rest of Regent Park and the rest of the city of Toronto in the backdrop. And basically what we're saying is this building, sorry about that, my tech just got interrupted. So and basically what we're saying is this building is going to look brand new and be just as good looking and just as vibrant as any of the new buildings in Regent Park. So I want to show you on the image of the left shows existing, obviously, the old brick building with exposed concrete slab edges and all of those old rattly and leaking windows. And the image on the right shows new building, new insulation, new metal cladding, new windows, new balcony guards. This is all, you know, the latest kind of high-tech cladding, durable. The insulation is got the highest R values that we can use. The windows are of great quality in terms of their resistance to air leakage and water leakage. They're going to be better in terms of keeping the noise, all the noise from traffic and from the outside even getting in. And so just we're putting a brand new exterior look, but a brand new finish to the building. And so we're going to zoom in because I want to show you some details. I want to take a step back. Samuel, can you go back to the overall image? And I just want everyone to understand. So these are the proposed materials. We spent a lot of time researching insulation and metal panels, balcony guards and windows. So we found the products. We have not picked final colors. And so these products come in many different colors, and that's what we call the final design. And so we wanted to show you what we're proposing, and then we're going to go away and we're going to sink our teeth into color options, and we're going to come back to you with a discussion about colors and do a final color presentation. So we're showing you the most standard and neutral colors, and it just keeps the conversation about the actual products focused on the actual products. But I want you all to know that the final color selection is still underway. So in the next slide, we get a little bit more zoomed in, and this is what I really wanted to highlight. So you can see the new entrance canopy and the new entrance at 220 Elk. It's supposed to be a lot more inviting, a lot more welcoming, and a lot more safer. We've got the wheel trans just beyond there, new provisions for bike locking and with canopies again. So this idea that, if it's raining, if it's super sunny, that you can take shelter while you're locking your bike up, or if you're waiting for a ride outside the front doors. And this image shows a lot of what we're planning, how we're planning to transform the exterior. So that site plan that I showed you, we've tried to put some of that into practice in this 3D rendering. So you can see, for instance, we start to show benches and seating and a little parquet on the grounds. You can see new pathways that will take you through the site and to the community gardens beyond. At the end of the day, everyone's getting a brand new building. I think I've said I've said a lot. Maybe too much. I don't know. But I want to turn it over to Jesse for a moment, so he can talk about some of the ongoing engagement and ways you can reach us. And then I'm really excited to kind of turn it over to all of you and have discussions, debates with Miguel about hot pink as a viable metal cladding color. I'm watching the chats, but really, we've all been at this for such a long time. I feel like we all know each other fairly well, and I'd love to hear what everyone's thoughts are too. Jesse, do you want to just say a few things about how people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, sure. You can always get in contact with me by my email. I'll leave it there in the chat, or you can always contact us by the contact that is on the screen right now. So you can send an email message to 220renewal at torontohousing.ca, or we have a separate line that is set up, and you can leave your messages on there. So that number is 416-981-4030. We'll probably put it up again before we finish off tonight. But yeah, I'll also enter it in the chat. So just in case we end up switching slides and you don't catch it, you can kind of scroll back to it. And you can also, anytime we've installed a mailbox on the ground floor, and you can always provide feedback to us, because we check it every once in a while. So that method might be, we might get back to you. It might take a little bit for us to get back to you, but yeah, you can always, just walk downstairs and just drop it in, and then we'll get around to it when we end up checking the box. And yeah, that's about it from me.
So thank you so much, guys, for the presentation. I think it's I know that everybody here is really excited to move this forward, and really just would like to hear anybody's comments, questions, anything like that. Again, I mean, Pete, please feel free to put them in the comment section. If your name is Miguel and you're suggesting hot pink, please don't suggest that. And then maybe you want to suggest another color that would be slightly more enjoyable. With that, I'd like to open it up. If you have any questions, please feel free to yell it out, or I don't know if there's a way to put up your hand or raise your hand in this method in Zoom. But please feel free to comment, and thank you very much, Danny, and thank you very much, Sophie, for the presentation.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and for more information, please check out our website.